Hey everyone, it's me, Donna. I'm making this video because I was going through my email the other day and I noticed something interesting. I had did a video about the 23andMe company finally updating my DNA report and all that, and how it was still crappy and just didn't have much on it. There just wasn't much to the update. Okay, well, then the other day I got an email and it claimed that I was getting a new update, and I was like, "What? I thought they already updated it, and they had claimed that they updated it in February when I had checked it in June and it wasn't updated, and then after June I had checked it and it finally showed it, but then it claimed it did it in February and all that." And I remember mentioning that in my video about how weird and because it took them so long to post it and all that. Well, anyway, so that email kind of got me stifled, and I thought, what's this about? So then I went back to my 23andMe page, and they had wiped away the so-called new update that they claimed they did in February and stuck it back on the 2022 update. I was like, okay, what is going on here? Okay. So then, which they said in the email that they would send me another email when this update happened. And lo and behold, yesterday evening when I had checked, I saw the email and I thought, okay. So I decided to go check it out. And I have to say, it. I was kind of disappointed again. Although I will say, it seems as though they've added new stuff, but still, they made some stuff disappear, and I'm like, okay, where could that stuff have disappeared to? How do you make African disappear? Like, for real? How do I suddenly have African, but then I don't? And they even had it like, and I've showed in past videos my DNA painting where it showed the segments of where I had the African on my DNA painting. Well, it's gone. Like, they made it disappear. Can you believe that? But yet, my mom, when I checked hers and her new update, she still has her African that she gave me, because it's on that same segment and all that stuff, but they took mine away. I'm like, this is insane. Okay, so then, uh, but the things that I did notice was that they actually added my Spanish that they haven't shown me in like forever. I don't even think it was on my initial report. I could be wrong. Although I can take the raw DNA from this very company, take it to other companies that allow you to upload raw DNA, and it will show up clear as day. I mean, just clear as a bell that I have Spanish and Portuguese and Italian and all that stuff. Well, but on 23's actual report, it was nowhere to be found, at least not in the last, several updates. But again, my memory from going back to the beginning, sometimes it's a little foggy. And sometimes from update to update, it gets a little foggy unless I go back and review it. Um, because I've taken quite a few DNA tests and I've seen all, pretty much everything. Um, and so, things kind of do get a little blurred and bleeded together sometimes. And I please forgive me if people have noticed that. I do apologize for that. I'm getting old, so what can you expect? uh, but anyway, so I found that interesting that they're finally showing that up. And it just makes me wonder, what are they doing? You know, and it's like they're playing that old, oh well, let's give a deeper name. Let's change the names around. Even though Most of the stuff means the same thing that it's always meant, but they're adding extra little titles and so-called deeper dives into the same thing. I mean, how many times can you label Northern Europe? Like, how many labels can you give that? Like, it's kind of cuckoo. I mean, although yes, it is interesting. If if it's something you want to look into, I can understand them like pinning down like uh, areas, geographical areas, and maybe towns and stuff like that. That's wonderful. But when they just keep playing with the same thing and they just keep relabeling it, I don't know. It to me, it's just, and then they just keep playing around with percentages and all that stuff. It gets to be aggravating, and especially when they don't show the other stuff that I know I have segments that are just as big as some of this other stuff. Um, Even though I understand that I am majority Caucasian and majority like Northern and Western Europe and all that. And I do have real big pieces of that, but also, there's smaller pieces of that that fall within a certain range that companies look at. Okay. The What I'm trying to say is the other ethnic groups, I know I have pieces of that are just the same size as some of these smaller pieces of the European that meet the threshold, but for some reason companies don't want to show it when they don't want to show it, and then later on they just decide, hey, yeah, let's show it. Yeah, let's throw her a bone here and there. I mean, it's like a game or something, and it's annoying. It's like, how about creating a formula and sticking to it? And yeah, if you want to show people maps and maybe more detail to certain things, maybe you've discovered more insight, then that's fine. But why uh, omit other stuff that is within the range, within the formula, the size that you need? Why are companies playing around with that and choosing to omit that until they just decide they want to? You know, I don't understand that, because if it wasn't good enough before, why is it good enough now? And why will it be taken away next time? Why won't it be good enough then? I mean, I don't understand that, and it just makes me so mad. I mean, it's stupid. Uh, like I said, pick a scientific formula that works and stick with it. And then also, I say, uh, why don't these companies offer ancient stuff, like especially 23andMe and Ancestry DNA? Because some people use those sites that don't know the reality, the true nature of what they're doing. They trust those sites because they're a major brand. They got monetary backing. They're out there. People buy their kits. They use those for family research and stuff like that. So why don't these companies actually become the companies that people think they are and tell the truth and offer ancient stuff? In which I know a lot of them now, they're locking everything down to a subscription. They want to suck you in with an expensive subscription that a lot of people really cannot afford, especially in this economy. I mean, we've been jacked by the Biden administration. I don't want to get into politics, but through COVID and all that stuff, everything has just jacked up, and it's staying jacked up. I know it's been a hard process to try to level everything off because it's very complicated. I won't get into that. But I'm just saying the economy is in the toilet. And I don't understand these companies thinking when it comes to subscriptions. I think that's like ridiculous. Who can afford that? Maybe a handful of people. Okay. Uh, so why not set up things that are more prepaid and stuff like that? Like, throw us all a dadgum bone and help keep your company afloat. Like, you'll make more money. I'm telling you, this is my advice to these companies out there. You'll make more money if you offer prepaid stuff. Like, let people open up, like, maybe more ancient stuff, ancient DNA findings, for like anywhere from 10 to 30 bucks. Well, I'd say $10 to me would be reasonable. Say $10 for 30 days. You can look at whatever, like, and maybe even having, if you want to have it broken up, like, pay $10, get to look at your deeper dive of DNA for 30 days. Okay, for another $10, you can look at deeper stuff, as far as maybe even connections to ancient findings, ancient bones that they've got DNA from. You can look at that for $10 for 30 days. No renewal. Like, once that 30 days is up, poof, it's gone. You don't have to worry about them hitting your bank account for a renewal fee. But if you want to look at it for another 30 days, pay another $10. They'll open it back up for 30 days. It's, to me, that would be the best deal I think they could offer. Um, and also records, like the ones like, because I know Ancestry DNA is connected up to records. Why not say, well, for $10, where you can look at your records for 30 days, prepaid, no renewal fee, nothing. Just, when the 30 days is up, it's up. You want to look again, pay it again. Give people that option. I mean, that to me would make the most sense, and it would be the most, I mean, don't get me wrong, if they want to do the subscription, if people want to sign up for that yearly thing, if they can afford it, great, fantastic. But like, for the rest of us who don't have that 1 to 2 to $300 to fork out for something like that, you know, give us something for $10, something worthwhile. That would be pretty cool. And even like something that, I believe it's the Family Tree Research Company, Family Search. They're offering some things for free, like to look at your connections to famous people, and I've done videos on that. Okay, why don't these companies kind of offer something like that? Maybe something that the uh, Family Search isn't offering, like new people. Uh, let you look at connections to new people that they found. Uh, like through records and stuff. They can link you up to say, okay, you're kin to, uh, you know, somebody else that isn't on the Family Search site, but yet it's somebody that, you could have a family tree connection to. That would be pretty cool. So they could kind of like look at what these other companies are offering people, and then do their own diligence and find new people, and then that will make it worth it when we pay the $10 or whatever for 30 days to look at. And even more things on your family tree. I would like for Ancestry DNA to open up the through lines on back. Like, now they've locked it down. Um, and I think you can only get it with a subscription. It used to be free, and I used to make use of that quite a bit. And it went back to your fifth great grandparent on the family tree. And you could find cousin matches that linked up to that same ancestor that you were genetically related to, so that your odds, you would say, okay, it's pretty likely that this is my fifth great grandparent or my fourth great grandparent, because I've got these cousins that are connected up and all that. And that's why they called it through lines. Okay. Why don't they unlock that for 30 days at a time, where you pay $10 and you can, and then open it on back, like go past the fifth great grandparent, like go on back there. That would be so cool to actually find that you share a 10th great grandfather with an 11th cousin out there. I mean, wow. And see, that can then be linked up to the ancient DNA report that you could unlock for 30 days for an extra $10, or do the subscription thing, the yearly subscription. However, but it would be nice to offer their subscriptions and offer the prepaid. I'm telling you, it will be a money maker. Listen to me, companies. I'm telling you, I'm onto something, and I know it. Not that I'm full of myself, but let's be real. I mean, you do have to think about the people in this economy and what's really going on. Okay. And if you're in business, like common sense. But that's just my thoughts. Uh, I'm not a CEO making the big bucks running things. So what do I know? Uh, but anyway, I thought I would show you guys on my computer um, the results and show you what's new and all that. Again, I'm glad that at least they're finally showing up the Spanish and all that, and Italian and stuff like that. That I know I have that it showed up in other DNA tests, but I am disappointed that the African just went poof. And I'm like, okay, what did it turn into? Like, what did my African turn into? Seriously, it's crazy. Like, and then what will it, it will probably pop back up, in the next thing. It's like, okay, well, you disappeared and you come back. Wow. Okay. But anyway, so I'll see you guys on my computer. Okay, guys, here I am on the new updated 23andMe report, DNA report. Okay, so this is all the new stuff that they claim. The rehashing of the old stuff to make it look new, pretty much. But again, like I said, I'm glad at least they showed my Spanish and Portuguese and all that. Okay, so as anyone who can look at me can tell, I have quite a bit of British and Irish and all that stuff. So this is it and what it includes. And when you click on that, it shows England and all that, various regions of England that my ancestors came from. Okay. Let's see. All right. So, of course, then you can just click on the English and then it will show that. Let me see here. I may have just accidentally re-clicked on that. Sorry about that. Okay. And then, of course, here's the Welsh part. Shows that. Okay. And then the Scottish. I have Scottish. So there that is. Okay. All right. And then me Irish from Ireland. So I reckon I have mine mostly comes from Northern Ireland, apparently, or at least according to them. Okay, so there's that. Okay, and then there's Western European. So I have my Dutch and Northern German. So there's it is. And I know my German sucks. I can't speak German worth the crap. So there it is. That may sound more French. I don't know. Okay. All right. And then there's the Swiss and Southwestern German and West Austrian. So there's that. Okay. Alrighty, then we get into the Central and Eastern European, which is all up in here near Russia and all that stuff. And of course, I have been on other sites like My Heritage and all that, and I have found that I am kin to people from Russia. So that's pretty interesting. So let's see. All right. See. Yeah. There, okay, right here it's showing the Belarusian, Polish, and Ukrainian. Okay. All right, and then we're getting into the Spanish and Portuguese. So I mash on that, and it shows all this, and then these islands and all that. Okay, so they're finally showing me at 0.6% Spanish and Portuguese. Okay. All right, and then Canary Islands. So, and it says that has to do with descendants from a blend of indigenous Guanche peoples believed to be related to North African Berbers and Latin, Spanish, and Portuguese settlers, or I should say later Spanish and Portuguese settlers. Today, reflecting a fusion of native island traditions with Iberian and Atlantic influences. Okay. All right. And then there's the Italian and Maltese. So, just like The Godfather. Okay. And then there's Northern Italian. Okay. And then now we're getting into the Nordic and Danish. So the Iceland and Finland and Sweden and all that. Okay. And then, of course, Danish. So I got ancestors from those regions. Okay. But then it stops. It's like, okay, where did my African go? It's like, gone. And they had it labeled, I believe, at 0.3% or something like that. So where did it go? But yet I got Danish at 0.2%. Wow. So it's crazy. And it's just like they're playing a game with my DNA report. I don't get it. I really don't. But it is what it is. I mean, like I said, I just wish that they would quit playing around with the formula, stick to a good working formula. And I understand adding more people to the reference panel, that's fine. But African does not disappear. It doesn't turn into Danish. It doesn't turn into English. It doesn't turn into anything else. It's African. It may have different forms of Africa, different people from different areas of Africa, but it does not turn into the Caucasian stuff. Like, let's be real. So that's just mind-boggling. But anyway, if you want to push it on back into the ancient stuff, then add an ancient feature. It just would make more sense, and it'd be more worth money, because right now, if you do the premium thing and have things unlocked with a subscription, you're not really getting much more for your money. I mean, just family records. I mean, really. And then access to look on back into the earlier reports that you did with this company. You have access to that now with the premium thing. And so if you don't have the subscription, then you're SOL unless you took screenshots from your previous things or made videos. So if you don't pay, you don't get to look back at that. And then, of course, things about your health. That's all on lockdown that you have to pay. So you see what's all on that right now. And then research. If you want to do any record searching and all that stuff, then you've got to pay. Got to pay to play as far as that goes. And then, of course, I'm not going to go into DNA relatives because I don't want to mess around with other people's privacy issues. So that, this is pretty much what they're doing now. So even if you've had an update, folks, you may be getting an email, and you may already know that they're doing even newer updates that you can look at. That's now available. But again, don't get your hopes up, because as you can see, just like with mine, you might be disappointed. So, yeah. But like I said, I guess I can wish in one hand and something else in another as far as what I feel like they could offer, and it wouldn't make a difference. So, but anyway, I just thought I would, share this with you guys, because it's just something that got on my radar. And, oh yeah. Before I go, I would like to. I noticed this bar across here, and I kind of noticed it before, but now that I read it, it says go beyond percentages with ancient relatives and three times more DNA relative matches. And it's only available with their premium subscription. Does anybody actually have their premium subscription? Can you tell me, is this worth it? Like, are you actually able to look at more ancient DNA features? Do they go deeper with the DNA report, or do they just are they just popping up with so-called ancient relatives that you may have descended from? Well, just like the free stuff that you get from GEDmatch and FamilySearch.org, stuff like that. Because Family Search, they connect you up through family tree stuff, not through DNA, but through family tree. They'll link you up to uh, dead famous people that you're kin to, whereas GEDmatch and a few other sites out there will actually they've got DNA from ancient people that they can link you up to using your DNA kit. Is that what 23andMe is doing, or do they have a list of these ancient people that they say that your DNA related to? Do they offer that? And if so, do you happen to know if it's the same old uh, uh, ancient people that these other sites have, or is it new stuff? Is basically what I'm asking. But again, I still stand by what I say about I wish they would offer this stuff as a prepaid feature instead of throwing it into a premium subscription that most people cannot afford. And even if you can afford 1 month, if you're not careful, you'll forget and you'll get hit with a renewal and all that. So I just think that it'd be best if they could also offer a prepaid option with this. If they did that, it might would be worth checking into. But I am curious though if they actually show you an ancient DNA report besides this right here. So yeah, so leave me a comment if if you have this feature and you know don't mind sharing. Let me know. So anyway, we'll talk to you guys later again. Bye.